You are knowing what you are wanting? Are you enjoying how your desires continue to evolve? Do you believe that you are keeping up with your desires? Well, it's interesting because sometimes you think that what we mean by keeping up is that you want it and then it happens, it's fully manifested. But when we ask, are you keeping up with your desires? What we really mean, this is the only thing that really matters. Do your desires still feel good to you? Do they enliven you? Are you excited about them or happy about them? Because if when you think about your desire you feel discouraged, then you're not keeping up with it. In fact, you're hindering it. If you are worried about it, you're hindering it. And sometimes we know when you've wanted something for a while, a long while, and it hasn't come to fruition yet. Sometimes it's difficult for you to remain enthusiastic about it because you are faced with the reality of its absence or its seeming absence. It's not really absent, it just hasn't matured all the way into the physical realization. But it is on the way. But if you take score while it's on the way, because it hasn't yet manifested into something that you and others can see and hear and smell and taste and touch, then as you look at the absence of that full manifestation, you offer the contradictory vibration about it, and you don't let it continue to evolve in the way it would if you weren't doing that thing you do that is slowing it down. So we want you to come into our vibrational awareness. We know it's hard because you're so good at being physical. You're so good at the translation of the vibration into the visual and so forth. And we know that that's the reality that you think you most want. But there is a vibrational reality that happens before anything comes into manifestation. And you have the ability to know about it even though you can't use your physical senses, your seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching senses to see it yet. You have to use your solar plexus. You have to use your emotional senses. You have to feel it even though you can't yet see it. And what we mean by that is it's a vibrational reality that is known by the broader part of you. It's like the fetus in the womb, so to speak. It's becoming. You're not yet rocking the baby or feeding the baby, but it is certainly a reality, and it is certainly on its way. And we want you to realize that there is a vibrational reality that if you will come to recognize it by the way it feels, and if you will take note of the way you feel when you think about it, and you will know that when you're feeling good and thinking about it, that you are allowing it, then you can, and only then can you, be joyful in this ever-evolving, ever-changing, ever-expanding life that you are about. If you want something, and you look right now and you don't see it, and you talk more about what you're not seeing than about what's coming, you just slow everything way, way, way down, and then you get a distorted view of how all of this works. So we ask you to come with us into the vibrational reality or awareness that we know, because that is the platform from which all things come. You are a vibrational being while you may not fully recognize it. You were vibration and you were source energy before you came into this physical body, and the larger part of you still is. And as you came into this body, this leading edge creation environment, as you sift and sort through wanted and unwanted, through things you prefer and things you don't prefer, you come to all kinds of conclusions. Some of them you speak right out loud, and some of them you don't talk about yet because they're so subtle you're not ready to put words to it. But you are at all levels of your being sifting and sorting and coming to conclusions of what you prefer, and those conclusions are vibrationally broadcast by you. In other words, if you don't have enough money, you want more. That's pretty obvious. If someone's rude, you would like them to be nicer, and if you don't feel good, you want to feel better. This is all very straightforward and easy to understand. But what many of you don't realize is that when the desire radiates from you, it matters a lot, because the basis of your new reality is being formed by those vibrational broadcasts. So you are broadcasting these vibrational desires, and they are being gathered by law of attraction and tended by that larger non-physical part of you that remains non-physically focused even though you're here in this body. Some of you call that your soul or your source. We refer to it as your inner being. But that non-physical part of you tends this ever evolving, ever expanding, ever changing, ever becoming you. So there is a vibrational you that has been accomplished by you, and then there's the physical you that's somewhere along the way of allowing what you've accomplished to be fully realized. But you've got to be the one who realizes it. You've got to get yourself in a vibrational place of expectation. In other words, you can't continue to say it isn't coming, or it's hard, or it's been too long in coming, or I don't think it's coming, or I don't see it, where is it, or I've been looking for it for a long time and it's still not here, and I'm not the only one, others like me don't see it either, and we really want it to come even though it hasn't come. You can't talk like that without preventing it from moving forward. In other words, you can't talk like that and get into what you must be in, the receiving mode or the receptive mode, in order for you to be the realizer of it. Your inner being is giving you constant clues about what we've been calling your path of least resistance. Your inner being is giving you these clues all the time. And we want you to know that the path of least resistance means the easiest way for you to get to what you want, given the beliefs that you have about it. That's what path of least resistance means. That's all that path of least resistance means. The path by which you will get to what you want, moving over and under and around and through the resistance that is on your trail that you have put there. Even more important, that you continue to put there every day. Because resistance that you put there last year and the year before and the year before that is not hindering you unless you're renewing it with today's comments. That stuff will just dissolve. It will just cease to be relevant to your experience unless you keep it activated by your scrutiny of what's come about. And we know why you do it. We know that you're comparing yourself to others and you're comparing yourself to your own goals. We understand how that all works. But we want you to understand that how it really works is this is a vibrational universe. And if you will accept your place as a vibrational being, and you will acknowledge that your emotions let you know something really important. They let you know the relationship between the opinion that your source has about you and your desire right now, and the opinion that you have about you and your desire right now. In other words, if you say, if you feel, if you mean, it's on the way and I'm so happy, that exhilaration that you feel is because that's exactly the way your inner being feels about it. But if you are feeling discouraged as you say, this is taking so long and I don't think it's ever going to get here, that very discouragement is the emotional indicator of the vibrational variance between your thought about this and your inner being's thought about this. So if we could just convince you, we can't in one fell swoop. If we could, we would have zapped you with it long ago. We want you to care about the way you feel, because the way you feel is the way you mold your vibrational energies into alignment with your own desires. And when you're in alignment with your desires are manifesting. The trail is lighting up. You can see your way along the way. For a long time, Jerry talked about a book called Turning Thoughts to Things, because he was aware that thoughts do turn to things, and he was also aware that different people with different attitudes were allowing different thoughts to turn to different things. In other words, he was making the association. He was understanding it. And so we want you to understand that as life causes you to sift and sort and know what you want, there is a vibrational reality that exists. We've been saying to you, it's in your vortex. We wanted to give it a place. We wanted to make you feel a more consistent reality about it, even though you can't see it. You can feel it, however. So your desire is in your vortex, and law of attraction is responding to your desire. Because once anything is set into motion, law of attraction gathers the cooperative components. So your desire is in a state of becoming, even though you may not be at the vibrational belief yet to allow yourself to see it. It's still in the state of becoming. So eventually, your desire becomes large enough momentum, fully formed enough, that if you are in the vibrational vicinity of it, you can catch a glimpse of it. So sometimes, when you're not doing that thing you do about complaining about how things are, sometimes when you're accidentally happy, an idea will occur to you. You'll say, oh, I just got the best idea. And what that means when that happens to you is you were in the receptive mode and you caught a full glimpse of what your vortex is revealing to you. It's been revealing it to you all along, but you weren't in the vibrational place where you realized it. But when you got that idea, ooh, you were right there. But it was usually quite short-lived because you're not consistent usually in the beginning of allowing yourself to really know that. After all, if you really knew it, it would already be. And so it's in the process of becoming. But once you catch that glimpse of that, that means that this vibration that you have given birth to, the source and law of attraction have tended to, that has grown and gained enough momentum that it will be a reality. Once that idea occurs to you, and it is a glimpse of a realization in your mind, I know that I want this. We want you to know it's a sure thing from then on. It's a sure thing because once it's come to that, it will gradually and steadily move to the full manifested version of it. And that's the sweet spot that you all came to live in. When you're sifting and sorting, you're doing step one of the deliberate creative process. You are launching your rockets of desire, but you don't even know you're doing that. It's just a process of life. Don't like that, do like this, don't like that, do like this, don't like that, do like this, do like that. And so you're launching these rockets. Step one is happening without you even needing to be aware that step one even exists. Step two then happens because source gathers it and law of attraction works on it, and the momentum is more and more and more until it builds to a vibrational frequency where it is realizable, where it can be realized by someone who's happy enough not to be blocking it, who's tuned in, tapped in, turned on for some reason enough to catch a glimpse of it. So step one you ask, step two it's answered. We wrote a whole book about that. Don't bother reading it. We just told you the quick version. So now, step three is what you're about. And step three is you've got to find a way to be more often in the receiving mode. You were there for a moment. That's why you know you want this. But you usually don't stay there because you are so physical. You are so wanting to see it and wanting to hear it, not quite yet understanding that it is a work in progress and that if you don't squelch it, it will continue to grow. And that's really what we're wanting to talk about. It's what we always want to talk about. We want you to be the realizer of the desires and the dreams that you have set forth, because that's why you came. You are the creator of your own reality, and you came with such enthusiasm to explore and to decide and to give birth to desires and to realize them fully. So, as you are spending more time in that receptive mode, by paying attention to the way you feel and by caring about how you feel, and by looking for thoughts that do feel good, and by deliberately avoiding thoughts that don't, by staying off subjects that you know are discouraging to you, and by deliberately looking for things that make you feel good. As you get better and better at that, then you stand in this place. We've been talking to you about this for a long, long time. When you want something and you believe it, then it is. In other words, when your doubt is non-existent, and your doubt will go away if you'll stop looking at the absence of something, if you will stop looking where it isn't and start looking where it is, your doubt will go away. So the thing that you've got to do is you've got to accept that where it is in the beginning is in a vibrational reality that you have to sense, not see. So you got to feel for it where it is rather than look for it where it isn't yet. And if you will feel for it where it is rather than look for it where it isn't yet, very soon it will be where you and others can see it fully. That's just the way this vibrational universe works. So now you know everything that's important about anything. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. What do you want to talk about? There's nothing off limits. You'll notice a perfect order of unfolding. What do you want to talk about?